This dress was donated by a follower who had been given to her from a friend and coworker. The dress had been stored in a pole barn, and inside this Ward's automobile seat cover box, which I couldn't help myself. I wanted to take a look at maybe what those seat covers would have looked like, and I have a 3738 Ward's catalog, so it might have been something like that or something like this from the 1950s. So Inge's granddaughter Tracy originally thought the dress was her great-grandmother's and that it was from the 1920s. And when I saw it, I realized right away that it was newer than that. So I thought perhaps late 30s into the 40s. And it was actually worn in 1950, but we'll get to that shortly. So her grandfather, James, served in the Rainbow Division in World War II in Austria, which is where Inge was working. And that's how they met each other. So James and Inge continued their relationship through letters. And this is one of the actual envelopes of what they sent to each other. They were married in Innsbruck, Austria, came back to the United States, and had another ceremony here. The article says, the culmination of the romance began while the bride was employed by the occupation forces and the groom was serving as sergeant in the infantry with the Rainbow Division in Europe. And here's another image I found of Inge. How beautiful. The couple lived in Iowa and were married for 62 years before James's passing. So now on to the dress. It has this kind of cuff sort of detail on the sleeves and covered buttons with the dome shape. And then we work our way up and we have some sort of bit of gathering to the sleeves, and this bodice, so beautiful, has this lovely ruching detailing. An unfortunate spot right there on the bodice, which is always right there, or the underarms. And then we work our way down on the skirt, and that looks to me like it might be lipstick. And so the spot on the bodice and the lipstick are the two main things that I want to focus on. And then when you look inside the dress, so there's some close-ups of those spots. So in the selvage of the fabric, it says Skinner Satin Crepe Pure Dye. And this Skinner Satin Crepe is a U.S. company, and it is not, I don't believe, it was not available over in Austria. So I'm thinking, my theory is, she wore a different dress for the wedding in Austria, and then when they had the ceremony here, I believe she may have borrowed this dress, or somehow somebody that had worn this dress before. To me, it looks more 1940s. So that's kind of my theory with this dress, and there's still a bit of a mystery on it. But to try to work on that lipstick, I started off with some rubbing alcohol, and it worked a little bit. And then I put a drop of Dawn on there, and then took some water and kind of dabbed it with cotton rounds underneath it, and it did improve it. So I'm hoping that soaking will take out the rest of it. The upper part of the bodice had these covered lead weights in there, and I removed those prior to soaking, and there's kind of a close-up with what those look like. So as I always have to do, remove the buttons so they don't rust. And since this is silk, all of these temperature soaks will be at no more than 88 degrees. We did retro wash and a little bit of Dawn, and then there's some nice yellow water. And now for sodium perborate. So I'm taking 1 cup, dissolving that in boiling water. And it was a gorgeous upper 80s day here in Minnesota. So I took it outside because I figured to kind of maintain that temperature for a while. And to keep it submerged, because the oxygen that starts to release makes it want to pop up. So I let it soak for 20 hours. And we have some more yellow water. And we have a mothball smell, which is not my favorite thing. And it's tenacious to get out. So I did another round, 24 hours, and then did some rinsing. And now to get the sodium perborate out, I'm doing a round of retro wash. Did some rinsing with that, and then I did one of the rinse rounds with some vinegar in the water, and I'm doing this because it actually helps kind of condition the silk. It can kind of restore the pH balance, and I'm hoping to get that mothball smell out. So I rinsed it, and then when I had it on the mannequin ready to dry, there's these gray spots on the bodice, which I don't know if they were just kind of hiding under the oxidation. And it was also on the train of the dress, so I was so bummed. So I'm going to do another round. So I took it off the mannequin and did another round with sodium perborate. I did, I think, 2 cups this time. And I put it back in, and I did a little bit of dawn in there too. And again, I mentioned there is still some of that kind of grayish on the train, which that makes sense, because it was on the ground. And I let that soak. First I had to cover it up with towels. You got to keep this, again, submerged because the oxygen makes it want to pop up. So I do these various things to keep it submerged. Went from 2:30 Wednesday until Friday at 2 p.m. So almost 2 full days. And I can still see that gray a little bit on the bodice. So I'm hoping that it lightens up once it's dry because, of course, stains look darker when they're wet. So I did the process again with retro wash and then the vinegar and then the several rounds of rinsing and the towel roll. And I took it outside, and I'm not seeing that gray on the bodice anymore. And I got my nose right up in there when it was wet, and I'm not smelling the mothball smell. So I'm glad about that. So I had to decide on the buttons. Do I do the original ones that aren't as clean looking, but the original to the dress? They can't be washed, but they have that neat dome shape. I did a little video, put it on my Instagram story, and the overwhelming decision that people said was to keep the original buttons. So I put some on. I just sewed those back on while watching Antique Roadshow one night. So I sewed those back on and didn't have to do much pressing on the dress, actually, but I just did that sleeve header. And you can see some paint marks remain on the train, and then there was 2 red marks in the back that I had not seen previously. So I'm wondering if I could have pre-treated those, if those would have come out. But here are the befores and the afters. My goodness. The silk in this dress is so beautiful, and I wanted to take it outside so you can get a better visual of that luster. And the design of this bodice with that ruching really showcases that silk and the beauty of it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And this dress with this story, I mean, of course, I've cleaned hundreds of vintage wedding dresses, and this one just tugged at my heart a little bit more. Just the story of, this Austrian gal and this man from Iowa met because of the war, kept in touch after the war through writing letters back and forth to each other, ended up getting married, with James going over to Austria for the wedding, and then the couple coming back here to Iowa, having another celebration, going on to have 4 children, being married for 62 years. It's just a wonderful love story, and I'm so glad I was able to clean this dress and get it to the point where this beautiful dress is now clean and wearable, and once again, ready for another special day 76 years later.